Good morning, YouTube. Alright, so today I wanted to give everyone a little more information about the apparent the global warming scare that we're seeing nowadays. Um, my personal view is that global warming is not happening, um, and I think people are getting worried for no reason. So I wanted to help put an end to the global warming myth and do my part to educate people. Alright, this graph that we have here is basically the global temperature for the last 10,000 years. And the, the first warming event that we see here, the Minoan warming event, was happened a couple thousand years ago, and after that we see the Roman warming event, which happened during the Roman Empire, and then after that was the medieval warming event, and the medieval warming event was it was pretty important. Reportedly during the medieval warming event, people in England were able to grow grapevines, so they're able to grow wine and grapes in England, which is pretty interesting. And in Greenland, there was a huge population expansion in Greenland because they were able to grow crops like wheat and stuff in Greenland. The medieval the Viking settlers there. And these past three warming events were the Earth was way hotter than it is now. Um, Down here we see the little ice age, and that red line after the little ice age is where we're at. As you can see, the Earth is a lot cooler than it used to be. The Earth used to be a lot warmer, but it's gradually cooling down. So this kind of shows that all the global warming people panicking for no reason, and it shows the cyclical nature of Earth's climate. It gets warm, then it gets cool, then it gets warm and cool, and CO2 doesn't really affect it. CO2 is not even a greenhouse gas. CO2 basically it's a building block for life here on Earth, and every living organism needs CO2, so it's actually very good. Recently CO2 has been it's been mischaracterized as some sort of like evil molecule. If there's too much of it, everyone's gonna die, but actually the opposite would happen. If we had more CO2, there'd be greener forests, there'd be more forests, there'd be more trees probably, bigger plants. The earth would actually get a lot more green. So if you want a green earth, you need more CO2. Let's look at this graph. This is the global temperature change of the past 415,000 years. Now, as you can see, Earth is generally more colder than it is warm. Yeah, we live on kind of a cool planet. So as you can see, the Earth's been a lot warmer in the past than it is now, and humans have obviously been on the Earth, and we didn't all die. So this kind of puts into perspective the global climate and how global warming nowadays it's not it's not even an issue, or it shouldn't be an issue because it's literally not a problem. Um, as you can see, like this past 25,000 years, the temperature kind of rose a little bit, and now it's climbing back down. So I'm not gonna say there's like an ice age coming, but statistically, more people die in colder temperatures than in warmer temperatures. So if anybody should be worried, they should be worried about cold temperatures. All right, this is the Greenland ice sheet, and this measures the thickness and the amount of ice on Greenland. And this is the right here in the green is the ice loss event that happened that everyone was freaking out about. But this is during the melting phase. So every year during the summertime, Greenland loses ice, but it happens every year and it gets it back always. So this is the ice loss event is normal. It happens every single year, and people are really panicking about it. But it gains the ice back when it's not so hot, which should make sense to everybody. Um, yeah, there's that. This is an article from the New York Post from March 2019. It says melting Greenland glacier appears to be growing again. So this is a picture of I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but the Jacob Shavin glacier in Greenland. And yeah, I mean, from the picture you can see there's a lot of ice there. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's anything to be worried about. I don't think the polar bears are gonna melt away in the ocean. Um, all this global warming scare, I think, is it's a way for the oligarchs to control people. I think it's it's a way for people to gain power. People like Al Gore and all these famous people like Leonardo DiCaprio and George Clooney. They don't really care about the climate. I don't think. I mean, they drive their private jets all over the globe, and which creates a lot of CO2. And I'm not saying CO2 is a problem, but if it was, these people would be huge hypocrites, which they are. But I think it's a way for people to control other people. Like all the taxes that governments around the world are trying to introduce, like the CO2 tax. I mean, you can't really tax CO2. It's the same as like putting a tax on oxygen or trying to, I don't know, put a tax on anything. It's a means of control. And yeah, let's talk about Greta Thunberg. She's one of the major environmental activists nowadays. This is a quote from her. I don't want your hope. I don't want you to be hopeful. I want you to panic, act as if the house was on fire. Um, I think that's pretty telling. Like, she's telling everyone, like, I want you to panic. Um, I think these environmental activists, they're there to create panic, and if you have panic, you have chaos, and if you have chaos, then people are more easy to control. So I think everyone should just calm down about the environment. Um, yeah, just stay calm about it. There's no major crisis looming ahead. We actually live in pretty peaceful time period. And I think since we live in a very peaceful, stable time period, people try to look for, I don't know, if there's too much order, people try to create chaos and disorder because it's too boring. So I think that's what this might be. People are swept up in these global warming fantasies and all this other nonsense like Trump's a Nazi, which he's not. Um, all this nonsense, people get swept up in it. Probably mainly because they're bored. I don't know. I don't. If you think about things logically, like you're not able to get swept up in these things that people like to get panicked about. Um, and I think about Greta Thunberg. She obviously suffers from some sort of mental illness, whether it's autism or depression or maybe a combination of the two. And I think it's really unfortunate that her parents have put her in the spotlight. I think it's really sad because she's just a little teenage girl. Like, you know, she should be like out playing with her friends and stuff like that. Normal things, not like worrying that the world's gonna end. Yeah, I think it's really sad and unfortunate, and like shame on her parents for thrusting her into the spotlight, and shame on the media for kind of blowing up her image everywhere. And yeah, I think it's really irresponsible. That's about all. There's no such thing as global warming, and hopefully today I've proved that. If you like this content, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.